Hi, welcome to this lesson on finance, future value annuities. Let's have a look at question 6. On 31st January 2020, Damien made the first of his monthly deposits of R1,000 into a savings account. Okay, so on that date, that's the first payment he makes. He continues to make monthly deposits of R1,000 at the end of each month up until 31st January 2032. The interest rate was fixed at 7.5% per annum compounded monthly. What will the investment be worth immediately after the last deposit? And if he makes no further payments but leaves that money in the account after 31st January 2032, how much money will be in the account on 31st January 2033? All right, so we're definitely going to need a timeline to help us visualize what is going on here, because we were not given the time period explicitly, so we need to go and work that out, and that's where a timeline is very useful. So T0, T1, T2, T3, up to some T amount that we're going to work out, Tn. Okay, and all these 1, 2, 3s represent months here, because Damien's making monthly deposits. Okay, so on 31st January 2020, so that's the end of the month, so we can call that T1 here, so we're going to say that's 31 Jan 2020. Right, we can think of T0 as the 1st of January 2020, so T1 would be the end of the month. That's when he makes his first payments. Okay, now we've got to think about this logically, so this boils down to a counting problem now. Where is 31 Jan 2032 on the number line? How many monthly payments is that? Okay, well, we think about it, and you can do this calculation logically from T1 up to T12. Right, the 12th month here is going to be 31st December 2020. So T1 through to T12, you're essentially going to end on the 31st of December 2020. That's where you're going to end. Then the next month, T13, that's effectively going to be the 31st of January 2021. Up until, so 13, so even if you want to count with your fingers to be safe, you can. So we're going to count from 13. You're going to add 12 along, and where does that take you? So T13, that's your first finger, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So up to T24. So that's going to be ending on the 31st of December, 2021. All right, so we can continue this pattern from T25 up until, so this is going to be T36, that's going to be another 12 months, that's going to be 31st of December 2022, and we essentially are interested on the 31st of January 2032. So we want to figure out where is this going to be 31 December 2020 or 2031. I want to figure out what that number is going to be. Okay, because then I'm just going to add one more month to get to the 31st of January 2032. So look at the logic there. So you can see it's going to take 12 payments to get to 2020, at the end of 2020, then another 12 to get to 2021 to 2022. So how many years from 2020 to 2031? Again, you can count on your fingers. 2020, then 2021, then 2022. And so on, all the way up until 2031. Counting on your fingers doesn't make this trivial, right? It doesn't mean that, oh, you're looking silly now for counting on your fingers. No, counting is really important, because if we don't count the number of years correctly, this problem will be completely wrong. So 2020, I'll count on my first finger, and I'm going to go all the way till I reach 2031. So 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, so I count 12, right, 12. So 12 times, so 12 years in that period over there, okay, plus 1 month for the 31st of January 2032. So that's going to be 144 months, right, 12 years times 12 months plus 1. So that's going to be 145 months. So that is our Tn here. That's 145 months. Okay, so that logic, that counting we did there, do not take that for granted, right? Count on your fingers if you want to. Count it explicitly, write them all out, because it helps you visualize the number of years in between that. Okay, All right, so now that we've got that sorted, we can now calculate exactly how much is going to be. So essentially we're working out the future value. How much is that future value going to be after 145 equal payments? So for A, the future value is going to be the number that you're investing. So X is 1,000 Rand times 1 plus I to the n minus 1 all over I. Okay, and again, my interest rate I here was at 0.075 over 12, and I'm going to store that into A into my calculator. So 0.075 divided by 12, and I'm going to go shift store A, and I'm going to check my A that it's correct. Yes. Okay, so now put it in the future value formula. X is 1,000, open brackets, 1 plus, you're going to have your interest rate to the power, now your n is 145, and then minus 1, all over the interest rate, A. And I'm going to get 234,000, so 888.53. So that means, what does that mean? That means if Damien keeps putting in 1,000 Rand at the end of every month for 145 months, what he will have right after the last deposit is 234,888 Rand and 53 cents. I'm going to store this value into B into my calculator because I'm going to need it later. So shift store B, and I can check that it is correct. All right, so if he makes no further payments, so that money there in B is now just sitting there, and he just lets it sit there for another year from 31 January 2032 to this end year here, which is going to be 31 January 2033. And again, we can do another number line to visualize how many months is that going to be. So again, that's going to be your T0, T1, T2, all the way up to T what? Okay, so T0 currently, he is sitting with that value of B. So after 1 month, right? So after 31 January 2032, he's at February, the end of February 2032. That's going to accrue interest over that 1 month. Then over the second month, 2 months, 3 months, and so on. And he's doing this for 12 months. So you're going to end at T12. Okay, so n equals 12 months here. And now we can simply put it into the compound interest formula. A equals P times 1 plus I to the power n. Okay, so therefore, the accumulated amount is going to be that principal amount that's sitting in the account, which is that B value. I'm just going to put B in my calculation. So when I put it in my calculator, I know what's going to happen. 1 plus, remember the interest rate is fixed there at 0.075 over 12, raised for 12 months. So if I do that, I've got that value B, that's my principal amount P essentially. Open brackets 1 plus, I've still got the interest rate A, all raised to the power 12 months. And I get 253,000, so 253,123 Rand and 54 cents. Okay, so that is how much money is going to be in his account 1 year later if he stops making payments, but he just lets that final amount after the 145 monthly payments. He just lets it sit for another 12 months without putting anything in extra. He will get from 234,000 basically to 253,000 and some change. All right, so that's how we would do this type of question. I'll see you in the next one.